Hello everyone, welcome back to Frank Film Club. Today we're going to be speaking about The Holdovers, lovely Christmassy film in the middle of March.
It's coming out in May.
This
So
episode.
random.
Yeah. Oh, the episode, not the film. But it's in cinemas right now.
Yeah.
In March.
Yeah.
Interesting. Christmas film.
Well, welcome. So The Holdovers is about a cranky history teacher at a remote prep school who is forced to remain on campus over the holidays with a grieving cook and a troubled student who has no place to go. It's written by David Hemingson and it's directed by Alexander Payne, who directed The Descendants, About Schmidt. I've written The Descendants twice. I obviously really love that film. Nebraska, and Election. And it stars Paul Giamatti, Davine Joy Randolph, and Dominic Sessa. So stay tuned for this episode. We're going to be talking about the tone of this film and what the filmmakers did to give it such a throwback feel to the 70s. And a lot of chat about the characters and the dynamics between them and the cast and the casting of Dominic Sessa in particular, who, I'm really excited to talk about. But before we get into it all, how are you?
Good, so good. I'm in love again.
Yay!
Yeah. The whole roller coaster of this recording series. I'm in love again and I'm really happy and life is great. And the flowers are out in my garden. That's brilliant.
Lovely.
Yeah, Sonny's back with me now. My press tour's done. Everything's just perfect.
Life in full bloom, much
And the
like
sun's
your
been out.
garden.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like life is worth living
But
again.
it has been really cold. Like, it snowed over the weekend.
Oh, I heard about this. Mum sent me a
Yeah.
picture. Not where I am, though.
Yeah, woke up on Saturday and it snowed.
Just
No
in time
warning.
for the random Christmas movie.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Did you play in it?
No, I didn't actually. Sadly not. But there were a few snowmans around as I drove out into the world.
nice.
Yeah.
How are you?
Fine. I'm well, thank you. Yeah, I'm still in love with my boyfriend.
Thank God.
So that's great. And yeah, I feel like we've been watching a lot of films recently and it's been really, really enjoyable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about this one. I'm not going to lie. I'm interested to see what you think about it because I don't think this is a usual one that we would do on Film Club.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we watched it because it had so much buzz around award season and rightfully so. But I'm not going to lie, this is one that I had to force myself to watch. But, I did enjoy it.
It happens.
Yeah.
We do a lot of films and we're not always going to super love every single one or be eager to watch every single one. But yeah, I think it's going to be good chats.
Wow. What did you think about it then? Did you feel the same way as I did? Was it one that you were looking forward to watch?
Yeah, I didn't have to force myself to watch it. I was actually looking forward to watching it and I did enjoy it. I was looking forward to watching it because I also love The Descendants. And so I was like, all right, I'm so up for the next Alexander Payne film. I've got to say I didn't love it as much as The Descendants, but I did still really enjoy it. And when I hadn't realised it was based around Christmas. So then when I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, this is a Christmas film. But I didn't feel like it had been advertised as a Christmas film.
No.
Am I right to say that?
Maybe we're going to get into this, but I think there's a story there.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Around the Christmassy element. If not, I can fill us in.
Well, no, Alexander Payne has said that he doesn't want people to think of this as a Christmas film necessarily. Is that what you're talking about?
Right. Well, I don't know. I just heard from someone, this is not a reliable source, although I deem them to be reliable, that it was supposed to be released sooner and then it wasn't. And so, yeah.
But I did enjoy... I think you can enjoy this film regardless of not watching it at Christmas. But it's probably one that I will now only rewatch at Christmas. Sorry, Alexander Payne.
That's exactly how I feel. I get it doesn't need to be seen as a Christmas movie, but I would much rather watch this at Christmas. And I wish that it had come out at Christmas because this would have been a great one for me to watch with my whole family. But still loved it and I can bring it to them next Christmas. Although we don't have to call it a Christmas movie. That's just when I'm going to be watching it again.
Well, do you know what though? The thing about the Christmas movie thing is you will always revisit Christmas movies at Christmas, but when there's so much content to choose from, not having a time to go, I'm going to rewatch that because it's this time, might not help you rewatch it. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I think if it wasn't a film set at Christmas, I probably wouldn't be rewatching this much. But when watching it, was like, oh no, this is a nice kind of a break from the usual Christmas film. Yeah. So I think that's why I will rewatch it.
Yeah, agree. So hang on. So it came out in the cinemas around like February, March time, right?
I guess so.
In the UK.
Yeah.
But it was meant to get released at Christmas.
Apparently, yeah. And there was like, I think, it's been a really rough year of releasing and filming because of strikes and so on and so forth. And I think that there was just like a scheduling change, and it wasn't going to be hugely detrimental to the release of this movie because it's not, it doesn't need to be advertised as a Christmas film in order to do well. Hey, prefacing all of this, could be total bullshit, but this is just something that me and my friend were talking about. And he was like, yeah, no, they fucked up. And I thought that you were going to
give us
talk
the beat,
about it,
give you the juice.
Yeah,
but
he's only said that it's not a Christmas film. So
okay, well,
go back
more
to my sources.
Rabbit holing needed on that front. But I do, watching it at home, I did think I'm really missing out here. I wish that I was in a cinema with Warren and Lords, with like a hot chocolate and like wound down from work and stuff. But in fact, I was sat there thinking about all the different work things that I had to do on my sofa, drinking a coffee after the 7th coffee of the day, going, I got to watch this for film club.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a very like, the experience needed to be like long and winding and enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't sitting in it in the way that I think this film really deserves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to have that full experience. I watched this. I started watching it earlier last week, but I've watched it properly yesterday. Sat down on Sunday afternoon. So nice. And
Sunday film.
yeah, proper Sunday film with my dog, who was just like curled up between my legs. It was so cute. And I loved it. I wanted to watch this film because of The Descendants. And then I knew nothing about it. And then as I started getting into it, I was like, I don't really like, this is like a story that I haven't heard before, or like a setting that's like really new, but it's not like my favorite thing in the world. But then I just loved the dialogue. I thought it was so brilliant, and it just flowed so beautifully scene to scene. And yeah, it was really taken on an emotional journey, had a little cry, and just really, has become a fave. And like, I can't wait to show people this movie, because I feel like a lot of films that I love, other people don't love, but this is going to be one that I think people are going to enjoy.
Yeah, this feels like super universal. You're right. I think maybe that's why I was putting it off, because I was like, an all boys school, it has a very 70s throwback feel. Like, I like some films around that time, but it's not my favorite like way to like digest a story, I suppose.
Yeah.
There's something maybe about films around that time that I find hard to connect to with some of the performances, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And have you guys seen the trailer?
No.
So the trailer is very like...
No, I have. With the voiceover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At a time where blah, 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 it's like very...
Yeah.
Yeah, that even feeds into the feel of what this film is.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it kicked off and all of the titles are like, the old school ones, I thought it was really cool. And then I was like, oh, where's this going? Are they going to really commit to the bit? And then it just like became a real classic feeling movie. It didn't feel too stylized, which I loved, but it was nice to kind of start that. But yeah, interesting. I haven't watched the trailer. So.
Yeah, that they even committed to that style.
Yeah.
In the
trailer.
advertising.
I really liked that. I thought that was a standout point of the film for me.
Even like there's like freeze frames of Paul Giamatti's character reacting to Dominic Sessa, like jumping off the horse in the gym. And yeah, I think I thought going into it, it's gonna be interesting to see it as like a choice. I did expect there to be some heart in there, but I didn't expect myself to like connect with the heart as much as I did. And I think that really does come down to the dialogue and to the performances. So what do you think about the performances? Who was standout? Well, I mean, they were all pretty standout, but what did you think?
I think Dominic, I haven't seen him in anything before, but I think he's amazing.
No, I hadn't seen him in anything before.
I think he's brilliant. I mean, they're all amazing. Dave Vine is just like sweeping the floor with the awards at the moment. By this time this comes out, maybe she's going to have her first Oscar. But yeah, I just thought that he was like held his own, against like seasoned professionals,
Yeah.
which was cool.
Yeah. No, agree. I absolutely loved Davine, especially the when they're at the party and she's like being really like possessive over the music. That scene in particular just like really got me. And I thought she was incredible. And I was like, okay, that's why she's been nominated for all these things. And I don't know if maybe we'll have one. And actually, Dominic Sessa, I think at first I actually took a little second to warm to him. Yeah. Which I suppose is also part of the character. But even in some of his acting, in some of his choices in the acting, I think I took a little moment to warm to him.
Yeah.
But then I was really, really on board by the end and loved him.
Yeah. I totally agree. I felt like at the beginning, some of what he was doing felt very theatrical and like melodramatic. And then I thought it was meant to be a throwback to 70s movies where the acting is not as subtle and nuanced as what we are used to now on screen acting. But I really warmed to him quite quickly, actually. Initially I was like, okay. But he does hold his own, and he's just, you cannot take your eyes off him. And Davine as well. Like she steals every scene because she's just like, I don't know. I just think she's, definitely somebody that I'm gonna be looking at a lot now. Yeah, I love her. Yeah. So this was Dominic Sessa's first role. As he thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did they find him?
So this won Best Casting at the BAFTAs.
Cool.
It did.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember.
Rightly so.
I want to be, so the casting director is called Susan Shopmaker. Okay. I want to be her friend. Do you remember she went on stage without shoes on?
Yeah, she's the best.
Have you met her before?
No, just like at the BAFTAs.
At the BAFTAs.
That.
Yeah. Want to know why? Because she seemed really
maybe she would have fallen over in her heels. Love that.
She's great. And I think that's why after we saw that win at the BAFTAs, and there was a few other wins, Davine obviously won Best Supporting. We came out afterwards and we said that we wanted to do this film because of that reason. And it definitely deserved cast. I think they were all great nominees. But so Dominic Sessa, he'd done some school plays. And Susan Shopmaker and Alexander Payne, they looked at like 800 submissions, auditioned some people who are like seasoned, we've done quite a few things, or maybe even people who've been acting since they were like really young. Didn't feel like anyone was quite right. So then they reached out they filmed in 4 different schools in America. Right. And they reached out to all 4 schools and said, have you got anyone in your drama department who might work for some of the roles? Alexander Payne was saying like out of courtesy, but then they saw Dominic Sessa and instantly knew that he had something special, but he was performing too much, like he was doing too much like theatre stuff.
Right. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they auditioned him 8 times or something like that, and then and then he got it.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of auditions.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of auditions?
Yeah, that is definitely a lot, but I feel like when people, I feel like when you're going through that, I mean, it would hurt so badly not to get it after that point, but they're really just like, want to make sure, I guess.
Lots of chemistry reads, and Alexander Payne has said that the first 2 or 3 times that they auditioned him, he was like really not good, but they could tell that there was something there.
Love that. Love that it worked out for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to go on to do like amazing now, surely.
Oh,
definitely. For that to be his first film and he's like in a run-in for the Oscars.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Is he nominated for he's not nominated for an Oscar,
Not
is he?
nominated.
No, but he's just like on the circuit,
Yeah.
With them.
To be associated with that.
Yeah.
Great.
Rankings.
Good for him.
Yeah. Fair play. Yeah.
It's his year.
Do you know much about the other boys in the film? Or
some of them were from the school.
Okay.
A few of them were from the school, and then the others were actors that they auditioned for the individual roles, or people they auditioned for the role of Angus, who didn't get that, but they thought they'd be good for the other roles.
Yeah.
Because those 2, I know.
Here's what you could have done.
Yeah.
No, that's nice though. It's still like such an incredible opportunity.
Yeah.
I feel like it's always like that in an ensemble of like young people. Like they've all auditioned for the lead.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I love
But that's
this.
just the way it goes, because I feel like that is an approach for a casting director when you have a big ensemble of like similar aged,
Yeah.
like same gendered like kids or whatever, a group, then you audition them all for the lead and then they start to fall into
place. Yeah, exactly. Because so much of the time as well, I mean, they changed the age of this role in the end because they were looking for somebody who was more like 16. And then they cast the character was more 18.
Yeah.
And he was, so did
He
they
was a lot
change
taller
the
than the rest of them.
But then was, yeah. And he was like, he could being held back a few grades.
Yeah,
was that added in then?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, I see. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Which worked fine.
Yeah.
That worked well for the story, actually.
Yeah, it did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Love that.
Paul, what did you think of Paul's character, Paul Giamatti's character, also named Paul?
So good. I haven't seen him in a lot of things. Like I know he's done like everything, but I haven't seen him in a lot of things, but I do love him as an actor, and yeah, it was just really incredible. And just like I don't know, because I saw his Golden Globe speech before I watched the movie, and it just like means so much to him. And yeah, he was just like really, really wonderful. Yeah, the two of them together, I feel like their chemistry was bang on. Like they looked like they were having a lot of fun. And when he slowly warms, it's just like, like the sun coming out.
Yeah.
What actually has he been in before? Because I also am like, oh, I've seen him in so many things, but I can't think of anything.
Oh my God, the one that I like watched so much as a kid was Big Fat Liar. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. So I feel like I can only remember him in a very specific kind of like jokey type roles, and not a serious movie like this.
Well, he is always cast as like, he's like a character actor. Like he's like smaller roles in, a lot of comedies. But he's worked with Alexander Payne before on Sideways, that film about like a wine tour, which I'm not going to lie, really wasn't for me. So I thought that this might feel a little bit like that, but it's quite different.
Yeah, it was so interesting. That's what I loved about watching his speech, is that when I was watching him do his speech, I was like, that's the Paul Giamatti that I recognize from movies, like very jokey, very silly. And sometimes when you have an actor who's known for that, who does like a more like straight, serious role, you can still feel they're leaning into that like just like more fun side. But like there was like not even a slither of that throughout the role, really. And that's amazing, like that he can still be so charming, so funny, so cutting. Like you don't hate him, even though you're kind of like scared of him a bit. Like, but he's just, I mean, he's just a great actor, isn't he?
Yeah.
He can like remove those parts of himself. They're not crutches to his like whole process.
Yeah.
That's what makes a good character actor, is that they can turn those things off and they don't constantly rely on the same bits, and they can still be charming and they can still be entertaining. And
That's Alexander, the director, has said about that as well, that he likes to cast comedy actors in straight roles because they have a buoyancy to them, like they keep it moving, and so it makes everything feel a little bit more human, rather than it being like this is a drama role and it's dreary and it's like
so true.
It is really true. It's kind of like with when we speak about Eternal Sunshine and Jim Carrey being in that, being in a serious role there, and it just really works. Yeah, no, I loved Paul's character, and just like felt so bad for him, because really like felt his frustration being in this school of boys who were like so spoiled, and I just thought it was a really brilliant character film.
Yeah.
And I felt like it had a really good ending. I think that's something that Alexander Payne is really good at. It's just finishing, and like you don't really know what's going to happen next, but you just know that they're like, they've changed, they're good. And it was just like really fab.
You said that you cried. That was going to be one of my questions, because even though I felt like there was a lot of like emotion behind what I was watching, and I really empathized with every single character, I did not cry. And I usually cry at everything. So which part did you cry at? Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry, but I did feel very sad at the point that I said before with at the party. when she got really upset.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't cry.
When he's back with his dad and his dad's like still lost it, kind of. Yeah. That was when I just thought his performance was really good. Dominic's performance was really good there. And kind of like, because you know it's coming, kind of. Like you can feel that it's not going to be everything that he wants it to be. And yeah, I think like, it's like a time, because I don't think he even cries at that point.
No, not that I can remember.
No. And I think maybe that's also why I cried for him.
Yeah.
People say that, don't they? Like when the actor's crying, the audience isn't. And it was one of those moments where I was like, you can't choose your family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do just love a story about unlikely friends or like unlikely family kind of units. And yeah, it was really beautiful in that sense.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's what I like about. So when we talk about all of these films, all of these like Oscar buzzy films, like didn't someone say there's only 16 narratives or something? Is it 16? Is that what it is?
I don't know what the number
There's
is,
a
but
magic
yeah.
number.
Yeah.
And like, this is that sort of like unlikely friendship, like thrown together, adventure type film sort of thing. But just love that the setting was so different. And for that reason, I feel like it's something that will stick with me. More so than something like Saltburn. Because it's like still a kind of formulaic story, you know, and like a descent into something. But like the setting is like more, I don't know, just like, I want to say done before, but then I'm like, actually, I couldn't tell you like another thing that was like done in a state like that with like a, whatever. But yeah, I just feel like there was a tone around this and like the setting that felt really new. And I liked that.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it was the emotion, like to compare it to Saltburn, I feel like the Saltburn really lacks emotion and like an emotional pull, but this like fully like you feel it and you relate to
Definitely.
it.
That's kind of part of the film is that they're all so cold in a way. But like, with this, it's got like a real soul that's like, and they're all people that, they all have their own lives and they're also, flawed, but also charming.
Yeah. And so Mary and Paul, I feel like they actually do have like quite a maybe not strong relationship from the start, but like they see each other
Totally.
from the start. Which
It already
I love.
feels like a formed relationship. Like you can imagine them joking around with each other before they meet in this film.
Yeah.
Like it's not a close relationship, but they do, yeah.
Yeah, they appreciate each other from a distance, I suppose. And actually kind of like stand up for each other in a distant way as well. In front of other people.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if this is like a saying, but I'm going to coin it if not. But it's like not about how you act when you're with me, but it's about how you talk about me when I'm not with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like when the kids are just being like assholes at the dinner table. And like the way that he like really screams, he composes himself afterwards. But I'm just like, that's when someone like really cares about you. It's like maybe not even the sort of thing that he would say to her in person or whatever, but it's like he really gets her and sees her and will stick up for her. And I just think that's beautiful.
Yeah, it really was.
Well, I think that what is so beautiful about this is that the characters you really dive into who they are. And especially Paul Giamatti's character, Paul, usually like to see that much humanity and get that much empathy for a character like this, especially because they've really played on a lot of the bad qualities of him at the beginning.
I know, like we could so easily be sat here going, it was really one note, was not into that as a performance. Like I really want to go through and dissect at what points he manages to pull it into something that you still want to listen to and you still want to follow. Do you know what I mean? Because like it could so easily just become
Yeah.
Like a really unlikable character that you're just sick of seeing. And it's just never that.
I think it's because his intentions from the start have always been, like, I think have always been good. I think Paul as a character is just a really good person in his core. And it comes out nasty because he thinks that the people around him are doing bad things. And some, like the boys and the people that he works with, some of them are actually not the best people.
No, yeah.
And he sees that and he tells them that in quite an angry way.
Yeah.
But then well, as we see, he learns more and more that like people do have shit in their lives as well. And then he becomes more...
He softens
like,
to it.
does soften,
yeah.
You do, like, it's very rare that you like really, really understand someone's bitterness.
Yeah.
And I feel like the script really helps you, and the performance really helps you understand why he's so bitter.
Yeah. Definitely. I think it's like all within the character, but I just sometimes think, even though if I know that about a character and if I'm doing an audition or something, I still I really struggle to do both in that way. Especially when there's a lot of like very cutting dialogue or a lot of like raising your voice or like whatever. I just think that it's a real masterclass in that, like something that I really want to be better at as an actor.
Yeah, I would love to know how they got that characterization, or whether it just... I mean, Alexander Payne has said that they've got a real shorthand, which is that they don't even have to say anything to each other, really. They just get it.
Yeah, I think things like that are also just like so indicative of a great director.
Yeah.
Because sometimes as an actor, it's really hard to know where we've just been and where we're going and like what temperature everything has been at. And so you need someone, a maestro, to really like keep that thread going so as it doesn't become one note.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a great duo. I hope they do something else together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably will. I mean, Sideways, did you see Sideways?
No, I didn't.
It's did really well, but I don't think it's for like us. It's not like really us as an audience.
I love that we're aware of that. I love that when we talk about things and we don't like it, we're like, it's just not for us.
Yeah,
but I
it's
think,
okay.
because that's like how it always is.
Yeah.
It's just not for us.
Yeah.
Baby Shark is not for you.
do. It will be soon. I will be on Baby Shark. No, I won't. She won't watch Annoying Things.
She'll only listen to Pink Floyd.
Yeah, she's a connoisseur already.
I'm actually so lost.
We're talking about Daisy, my child.
Okay, maybe the audience will also really lost at that point.
Hey, that's good writing. That's how we let the audience in and explain the disposition.
One thing that this film did really make me think of is teachers at my own school, like when I was at school, that were like the nasty teachers and that you would absolutely dread going into their classroom because they were so angry. And it just really made me think about, there's two in particular that it really made me think about. And I'm like, why? Like,
what did they go
to them?
home to as well?
Yeah.
Like, what do they do when they close the door? Yeah, it makes
and like
me
the
sad.
hate that they got from us as kids, but like also rightly so because they were so nasty. But then it just really made me thinking, like, kind of like broke my heart a little bit. That I was like, God, I wonder what was happening in there. Yeah.
So with Paul Giamatti's character, there was two things that they did to make him feel like physically and another sense as well, a bit more like repugnant. Is that the right word? Like, just a bit more off-putting.
The eye.
The eye. Yeah.
I didn't remember him having an eye like that, but
So I also thought that, and I was like, but I don't imagine. I don't know how they would have done that.
So it's
added it.
contact lens.
Oh.
I don't know how. I think it maybe whites out a part of the bottom of the iris.
Yeah.
And then
Love that.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
can
wow.
do anything.
That is so cool. But you know what I did find mad is that Angus even says it in the film that like sometimes it looked like it changed. Did you think that? That like sometimes I was like, I feel like this eye is, I couldn't tell which eye was like normal.
But I think
because it felt like it changed. Like, did they literally change it, or was that just a? I don't know.
I don't think they changed it.
Oh.
At least that's not what I found in my research.
Right.
Yeah.
But the question that he asks at the end about which eye do I look at,
Yeah.
that is like valid, because maybe that's why, because you don't know which eye to look at, and sometimes he is actually looking over there, but it looks like he should be looking at you.
Yeah. I think it is.
My mum's boss used to have a lazy eye, and whenever he'd introduce himself, he'd always be like, "Hi," and then he'd be like, "This eye."
No,
Just because, like, immediately you're like, I don't know which eye to look in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just be like, this one.
That's great.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm thinking of about that is that sometimes if they do coverage, you accidentally get the line wrong, and so they might have just like flipped a few shots.
Oh, maybe.
And been like, oh, the eye's not right. But I mean, that's
maybe.
sometimes.
I thought it worked well for the point that Angus asked. I don't know, like, even if whether it was a mistake or not, I thought it like
someone needs to
good.
do like a TikTok series or like a YouTube breakdown of the theory of the eye movement. If Paul in the Holdovers.
Let me tell you, the girlies on TikTok, they love Dominic Sessa.
Oh, I bet.
Really?
I
Yeah,
bet.
he's like the new Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, really?
No, actually, what do we think he's going to be? I feel like he's going to be Paul Dano.
Really?
No?
He's more heartthrobby though. No,
He's more heartthrobbing.
I do think.
yeah.
So what about, we think he's going to be like a Barry Keoghan?
No.
What do we think he's going to be?
I think he's
going to be his
An
own
Adam
thing.
Driver.
yeah, closer to that.
Maybe.
Yeah, great.
Ow.
Yeah,
Cool.
can do like very heartwarming, empathetic roles, but also can do something a little bit on edge. Yeah.
Love that.
I'm excited for him.
Me
so
too.
he's studying at the moment, but he's taken a year out. He's got another project with someone fabulous, and I can't remember who it is, but he's working. So we'll see if he goes back to uni. We will see.
Oh,
Wow.
love that for him.
That's so cool.
He's got such an amazing face. He's like sharp. He's got like sharp features, but they're also so soft at the same time.
Yeah. Do you know this like thing, Kiki and Booba?
No, what's that?
You know, like, so...
I think only because you've told me.
Yeah, across the world, there's like a more angular shape and there's a more soft shape. And no matter where you are in the world, no matter what the language spoken, you ask who is Kiki and who is Booba. And the more angular shape, everyone will always say that's Kiki, and the more rounded shape, that's Booba, just because like Kiki sounds sharper and Booba sounds softer.
He's a Kiki.
Is he Kiki or is he Booba? I think he's Kiki.
Kiki.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say he's sharper.
He is, yeah, he is. Like, it's very angular in his face, but then there's like a real nice softness to his lips, and like his.
All right,
there's like,
Han.
I know. I just could not take my eyes off him, and he's got like this weariness as well to his face. Like he's got these like little baggies under his eyes that I feel like probably will never go away. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's got a great
love
face.
people's faces. I don't know if you know.
That's your thing. That is your thing.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Good for him. I think that they're all going to do well. They've already done really well, but I think it's going to be really exciting to see what they do next.
I predict.
Paul Giamatti will be an actor in the future. So, would love to sit here and be able to ask you the question about budget, but I can't find any information.
Oh, probably because it's still, that's, you know, not wanting to let people know whether it's a flop or a
Oh yeah, it's
success.
still in. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's not good before award season for the numbers like that to get out. I wouldn't have thought.
Right. Well, also, yes. And I think additionally, Alexander Payne's last film, which was like quite a while ago now, called Downsizing.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was him.
Yeah. Wow. Did you see it?
Yeah. I did not love
Well,
that movie.
There we go. So it was his biggest budget that he's ever been given.
And then, yeah, this is probably a smaller one, but that's fine. Like, why it's the industry is so weird how people just like have one flop and then like, but there's no shame in that. He's done the most amazing movie with clearly a smaller budget, but like you don't need a big budget to make a great movie, as Downsizing proves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great track record. Okay, so speaking of, this film has done really well. Do we think deserving of all the praise it's done with the awards?
I do. I like this movie. Yeah, there would be others that we've spoken about that I've enjoyed maybe more, but I would put in the awards category a little less. But yeah, this one feels like if this was like Best Picture like 4 years ago, I would be like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I feel like it really caters to the older voting arms of like the Academy and BAFTA. I think that it probably appeals to them more as like somebody who would vote for this to be Best Picture. I don't know if I would.
Neither,
you know?
but like, you know, it's because it would be over the hedge.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I actually did see a video of Dominic Sessa talking about his 3 favourite films, and one of them was Over the Hedge, and I thought that is legendary.
Wait. I thought it was a saying. What film is Over the Hedge?
You've never seen that?
No.
Great film.
It's about all of the wildlife animals that need to store up their food to hibernate over winter, and then like one of them's like played by a cool actor. I can't remember who.
I don't know.
Okay, we
Jason
got
Bateman.
Bruce Willis,
Bruce
Steve
Willis.
Carell, Wanda Sykes.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I didn't know that any of these people were in
And
it.
then like the bear eats it all, and then none of them have any food over.
Wow.
It's a great movie. Sorry, this is going off. I'm like, 36 minutes, great. Let me just make this 57 minutes long.
Okay, so it is deserving of all of its praise to a lot of people. So win for Best Casting at the BAFTAs, Best Supporting Actress for Davine, and Oscar. This is gonna be coming out after the Oscars, so we'll see what it scoops. But it's
But they
nominated
both got Globes, so that's
Yeah.
always a good sign. You
Yeah.
know? And she got the
BAFTA. Yeah.
BAFTA.
So we will see what happens. But yeah, great. So Letterboxd, Ayo Adeberry.
Oh, love.
They don't make films like that anymore, but they did. Charming, frightening New England representation, 4.5 stars.
Great.
Agree.
Yeah.
So cast has said, hit it out of the park for me, probably goes even harder with a bowl of soup.
Not wrong.
That's actually really true.
And some crusty bread, I'm
I
going
was
to
just
add
about
to
to
that
say,
cast.
and some bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some butter.
Tyler gave it 5 stars. I'll be rewatching this every Christmas for the rest of my life. And I really agree. I know I've sounded like a little bit dubious about it, but I think for the reason of the Christmas rewatch, this will be one that makes it into the Hall of My Own Fame.
Agree.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. My mum and dad have seen it. They said they loved it. So I think it's going to become a family
Yeah.
one that we do together.
Wholesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to show my family and be like, oh, why don't we just watch this? And then watch them all be like,
Final thoughts on The Holdovers.
so interesting to hear more about the casting. A good film. I enjoyed it, and it's nice to hear what you both thought too. And yeah, I mean, if it's not clear already, I think we're all going to be getting this out at Christmas.
Yeah. Just agree. Just dead nice
Yeah.
film, isn't it? And I can't believe that it's Dominic Sessa's first film. And incredible performances all
Yeah.
round.
Great.
What about you?
Great. Yeah, I it's not my favorite film. I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
But and will rewatch it a lot. It's so weird though, because anyway, I liked it, okay?
That's okay.
Point made.
Yeah, fabulous.
Great. Thanks so much for joining us. Let us know what you thought of The Holdovers. Did you watch it in a Christmassy setting? Was it strange because it was in February? Let us know. On social media, you can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Frank Film Club. You can reach out to us, filmclub@rap.world.
Next week, we're going to be chatting about Maestro, which you can now watch on Netflix. It was written and directed and produced and is starring Bradley Cooper. And I think it's going to be a really interesting chat. So go ahead and take a watch and then come back here next week for more Frank Film Club.
This podcast was presented by Wrapped.